Ah, beta Minecraft. Just look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Probably the greatest time to be an inspired young Minecraft player. Some of the greatest YouTubers that defined the era of the early 2010s had their start in beta. But what is the history of Minecraft beta? How did it come to be? And what did the updates that were included in it provide to Minecraft? While I am going to be listing what every beta update provided to us, I will also incorporate a tier list based on the content that they have added and impact they have done since.
Just to spice the video up a little bit, I'm writing a script before I start listing through the updates, so I can't guarantee that I'm gonna be talking about some random update where like 2 bugs were fixed. Also, obviously, I'm gonna be listing the Java updates. Perfect. Fuck you, Bedrock.
Fuck you. Okay, with all that said, let's start with Beta 1.0, the first version of what would come to be known as the greatest string of updates that were released. It introduced leaf decay back into the game, added a bunch of splash text on the title screen, skins could support capes now, tooltips were added in the inventory, and it fixed some bugs. Since this update served as the template for future updates, I'm gonna be giving it an S tier solely for its massive impact.
Beta 1.0-01, fixed some random bugs. D tier. Beta 1.0-02, fixed a bug where you couldn't play the game on macOS. Well, this is an F tier because you are a sick and wrong person if you still use Mac in 2023. Get out of here right now. Beta 1.1, they gave us holiday specific events for stuff like Christmas or Halloween and stuff like that. Also, fun fact, a font.txt file was missing, which made all the text missing during the first few minutes when the update was released. For that funny story and actually unique events, I'ma give this an A tier. It's just missing some pizzazz that makes it stand out. Also, leaf decay was sweet. Beta 1.1-01 was the update that actually fixed the text thing of the previous update. Pretty much the only thing that I did do, but funny nonetheless. C tier. Beta 1.1-02 fixed some random bug about chests not being able to open whilst not holding anything. Also, the last Minecraft update of 2010. D tier. Beta 1.2, a relatively large update that added charcoal, which is either a poor man's version of coal or an extremely wealthy man's coal. Some other funky stuff that were added were dyes, squid, which could be milked for some fucking reason, sugar is a thing, bone meal, sandstone and lapis, which at this time was actually useless, bones, spruce and birch, cocoa leaves, and holy shit, there was a lot. Safe to say that this is a pretty underrated update. We got what later would become key building blocks, as well as blocks that serve unique functions today. I'ma give it an S tier for that. Beta 1.2-01. Paintings were added, which, aside from being a good decoration block, also served as a secret entrance, but for now only the code was done, not the actual paintings. Slimes were re-added and some bug fixes. For an update that would otherwise only fix some bugs, it offered a lot of stuff. B tier it is. Beta 1.3, the third major beta update that saw the release of arguably the greatest block of all time, beds. Very versatile these things are. You can sleep on them, bounce on them, and blow up imaginary dragons in a block game. But you couldn't do that last part when it was initially released. Some other stuff like redstone repeaters, some new slab varieties, and some bug fixes. Redstone dust now fades the longer a line is, and that is why a repeater is now a thing. Apparently in this update the crying obsidian texture was added into the game, but clearly went unused for some time. There were some problems with the debug code when the update was initially released that made you spawn with some crazy stuff. Best update so far. Definite S tier. Beta 1.3-01. More bug fixes. Yeah! Specifically, this is the anti-fun update. An item duplication glitch was fixed, you couldn't climb ladders placed one block apart, and you couldn't milk squids anymore. What bullshit. Please, F tier is me being generous. Beta 1.4. Wheat now grows faster. Fucking woohoo. The logo changed from the old one to the more modern version. Sleeping in bed now resets your spawn location. And look dude, this update really was just a conglomerate of a bunch of random stuff. I don't think you want to hear me tell you that spiders don't trample crops now, or that sheep can now spawn with rare colors. I guess the locked chest is kinda cool. And obviously, like almost any major update, it was accidentally released with some debug code in it. Still, probably the most underwhelming update so far. D tier, solely because it didn't just feature bug fixes, and I guess all of these things don't inconvenience you. Beta 1.4-01 fixed a bug with bed respawning and removed locked chests. That's basically it. D tier. Beta 1.5.
We got statistics and achievements, which are pretty cool. There are now also powered rails and detector rails. You can now plant birch and spruce with their new saplings. Charged creepers and zombie pigmen became a thing now, which are hard as balls to find right now, but don't worry. Mojang will make those bullshittingly easy to find. Actually, weather as a whole is now a thing, so some biomes feel a lot more atmospheric. I mean, this is 2011 we're talking about, which means your game instantly crashes whenever rain would start, but still. Wow, this update is massive. I was thinking of giving this an S tier, but it didn't really introduce any standout objects, so I'm gonna give it an A tier for that. Beta 1.5-01. More stupid bug fixes. Like, I'd give it a higher ranking if it wasn't something boring like pumpkins are no longer worn backward on the player. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Here, you fucking read it, I ain't gonna. It's D tier because you had to actively hurt the game to be F tier, or you introduced practically nothing into the game. Beta 1.5-02. Literally 2 bug fixes. F tier. Beta 1.6. Some environmental stuff like ferns, grass, and dead bushes were added, and a trapdoor. The actual fun thing that was added were maps, which for a guy who's a sucker for maps in any category are really cool. Also now when you sleep in the Nether you explode. Sprinkle in a lot of block adjustments and 97 bug fixes. Holy shit! And that's that. Maps are really the only thing that are worthy of talking about here, so I can't give it higher than C tier.
Rapid fire time for the rest of the 1.6 updates. Beta 1.6.1. One bug was fixed. Why even bother to make a standalone update for that? F tier. Beta 1.6.2. Once again, one bug was fixed. Also, the glitch was an item duplication one. If something below F tier exists, this update deserves to be there. Beta 1.6.3. 3 bug fixes and some random block and general setting fixes. A whole lot of nothing. D tier. Beta 1.6.4. One bug was attempted to be fixed. What? F tier. Beta 1.6.5. Some actual content. You can now climb stairs while crouching. Some stuff I don't care about. And 13 bug fixes. Actually not that bad. C tier. Beta 1.6.6. For some reason glowstone got tweaked a lot. The crafting recipe for wool has changed slightly. Using bone meal on grass now makes flowers in grass. Something with boats and 3 bug fixes. Pretty good, I'd say, especially for a non-major update. It is B tier worthy in my opinion. Beta 1.7. Pistons were added as well as shears, which means now you don't fucking Tyson uppercut sheep every time you want some wool. The silverfish exist. Somehow. I only know they exist in those infected blocks, which weren't in the game at this point, so I'm not sure how one would find them. Flint and steel is now required to blow up TNT blocks. Some beautiful texture changes from these ugly asses. Single slabs now use the bottom half of the texture, and a few more miscellaneous things. One hilarious bug that exists at the moment is that when you right click on a sheep, the game instantly fucking crashes because it cannot handle the sheer power of that mammal. Overall, a pretty good update. Not as big as I remember it, but I still think an A tier is more than enough for this thing. Beta 1.7-01. 2 bugs were fixed, but the trivia side of things, this is the last update with this type of naming format, as well as being the last update where Notch was the sole worker. Still pretty ass. F tier. Beta 1.7.2. 3 bugs were fixed. On the edge between D and F tier, but I'ma be generous and give it the former. Beta 1.7.3. This is the last of the nostalgic updates and one of the most played versions of Minecraft ever. The update itself fixed like 9 bugs, but I'm completely willing to ignore that fact because this version is the culmination of all the updates before it. Every single person who's molded the game to the point that it existed in Beta 1.7.3 is the true work of art. For this legendary status and being the final update with that true nostalgic feeling, I believe this update is more than S tier worthy. Good job, Notch. Good job.
Beta 1.8. Codename, the Adventure Update. Minecraft's most ambitious update in terms of a jump in quality. This update is worthy of a video on its own, so I'ma just give you a simplified version of it here and tackle that beast another time. A bunch of new blocks, most notably any block related to the strongholds such as stone bricks or iron bars. Fence gates now make it so you don't use a fucking door or something for a fence, and melons. Speaking of food, this update completely redone the food and healing system. The most important things that were added are that now there is a hunger bar. Food replenishes the hunger bar, which in turn passively replenishes health over time, but only if it's past these 1.5 hunger chopstick things. And yeah, food is now stackable. Yeah, got enderman and cave spiders, but why does it say here as well that silverfish have been added? Wasn't it like 2 updates ago that they were coded into the game? MinecraftFandom.com, you really suck. Oh wait, experience was added, though I don't think you can enchant stuff right now. But the real star of this update is the color palette change.
Stop the cap.
Nah, I'm just kidding, it's the terrain generation. That's probably the first thing that people think when someone mentions this update. I believe the proper term for this would be a side grade. Basically what that means is that it gave us some new, different and more grounded / smooth generation in exchange for those amazing visuals of massive cliffs or mountain ranges that were everywhere. Don't get me wrong, that stuff still existed, but much less now, but the new biomes that came along with it made the game feel like a much bigger world. Plus it literally got bigger. Now it is 60 by 60 million blocks. But a day of sorrow. We lost an old friend. The Farlands have been removed and replaced with this bullshit. Taking all of this into consideration, this update, 1.8, the Adventure update, is objectively the greatest beta Minecraft update. My subjective side cannot allow it to be above beta 1.7.3 though. Both of these updates make me feel like a kid again, and that's what is the most important thing about them. S+ tier all the way. Such a good update. Beta 1.8.1. 2 bugs were fixed and the mineshaft pillars were replaced with fences instead of planks. D tier. Okay, so we've reached a point where I gotta clarify something. Regardless of what the wiki says, I count the pre-release updates as part of beta, so consider this as bonus content. Beta 1.9 pre-release. Mirror fortresses were introduced along with their customary blocks. Blaze and blaze rods were introduced and villagers are also now in the game. Granted they don't do jack shit right now, but hey, at least we didn't abuse them for capitalistic games back then. Mushroom Island biomes are here and are very cool, but sadly arrows don't remain visible on mobs after they've been shot with them. A really cool and underrated update. I think A tier is a good spot for it.
Quick intermission. I just found out that there were 2 pre-release updates for beta 1.8, but they're basically that version itself, so I'm not gonna rank them. Beta 1.9 pre-release 2. Cauldrons were the only new block, but there were also a lot of new items. Blaze powder, glass bottles, and some other stuff. 9 music discs were added, although I don't care about that because the best one, Cat, wasn't one of them. The breeding system was added, but it isn't functional due to a lack of baby models. Every Minecraft YouTuber's favorite challenge difficulty was added. One final note that I'd like to mention is that villagers are currently called certificates. Come on guys, you were begging us to ridicule them. I really like these pre-release updates. Another A tier. Beta 1.9 pre-release free. A lot of new blocks with unique purposes were added, such as brewing stands and enchantment tables. There was a white cobblestone texture found, where in the next update the proper endstone texture would reside, which was probably the first version of it. Everything else related to the end was added, such as Eyes of Ender and portal blocks, but obviously there still wasn't no end dimension. Baby variants for animals were added, so now breeding works as intended. Enchanting was added, but only as a placeholder that would be tweaked later. And for this update, glass pillars were made to show the locations of the portals. A bunch of changes to the world generation and blocks were done, and 2 bug fixes. I gotta hand it to Mojang, they really stepped up with the quality of their updates here. S tier, because it introduced so many important things. Beta 1.9 pre-release 4. The end has been finally added into the game. Within this dimension are also the Ender Dragon, which is the first of currently 3 boss mobs, Endstone, the End Island, and Obsidian Pillars. Enchanting was now also fully implemented. The sun and moon now rise in the east, and the moon has multiple phases. There are also some miscellaneous stuff and 5 bug fixes. Automatic S tier, probably the 3rd best beta update. Beta 1.9 pre-release 5. Some new achievements. A bunch of block retextures. Hostile mobs act neutral in creative mode along with other stuff. New dying animation for Ender Dragon, even though they still do not spawn. Some more random stuff and 8 bug fixes. Probably the weakest of these pre-release updates so far, but definitely not bad. B tier. Beta 1.9 pre-release 6. Dragon eggs were added, and crystals as well. The ending credits were also added. This update also added the meme template. Chests don't prevent chests under them from being opened no more. The sun and moon are square again? What? It didn't say anywhere in the past updates that it was changed. Whatever, it ain't important. A lot of miscellaneous stuff and 12 bug fixes. Sadly, this is the last version with the classic Steve Hurt sound effect. A tier. It didn't quite blow me away like the last few updates, but pretty cool. Finally, we're fucking done here. Looking back at this list, and this was kinda what I was expecting for it to turn out as. These versions mostly gravitated between either S or F tier, with some sparse sprinkling in between. I have tried to stay as objective as I could, so let me know in the comments if you disagree with something, cause trust me, this tier list definitely isn't flawless. And also tell me if you want to see more updates ranked like this, for example all of the alpha versions.